Okay, I have to start.
Okay.
First of all, I would like to express my gratitude on behalf of We Bangladesh chapter to join me this evening from home and abroad. Today's presence is good morning, especially Patricia. Good afternoon, good evening to everyone. Okay, get to know me at first.
Yes, for me it is good morning for me.
Assistant teacher from Bangladesh. During COVID-19, we have been working regularly with students and educators at home and abroad to ensure quality education so that we can meet the challenge of the 21st century and create students and teachers suitable for the food industrial regulations. This is our effort today in this continuum, always and anywhere. We meet today from different parts of the world since our face-to-face roundtable session is not possible due to COVID-19 and it is not possible due to third train. I have arranged virtually. In today's program, I have invited academics from several countries, including my own. We name it the roundtable session. The topic of today's discussion, assessment of teaching and communication skill. Our today's discussion's topic, assessment of teaching and communication skill. This is an ongoing process. We will try to maintain this continuity. I think this effort will be successful if you are by my side. It is worth noting that much of the credit for this program goes to Patricia Arbona. The full program credit goes to Patricia Arbona from Argentina. She is my favorite colleague and co-partner in this program. Patricia and I both plan to start a program like this. I would also like to mention that there will be a series of student, teacher, and parents in the next episode of this program. So let's start our program. First of all, I will know the identity of each person. Let's start with Patricia Arbona. Please.
Shall I start?
Please introduce yourself. Just 1 minute. Please introduce yourself. Just 1 minute.
Okay. Well, my name is Patricia Arbona. I'm from Argentina. I'm a trainer and a drama teacher. I think that today, in this process of transformation, we need to focus on active learning so as to give the students central participation in the process of learning. When we consider the student a central element in the process of learning, there are many elements that are playing at the same time. Especially, we are giving the students the necessary strategies so that they will be able to solve problems in the society they live in. Roxana, just a question. Do we focus on communication skills or do you prefer face-to-face classes? Because you started mentioning that, but I don't know the central topic of this session.
Roundtable is not possible because it is a subcontinental problem or since that we are in different countries. It's not possible face-to-face roundtable program. It is always possible virtually. So I have mentioned this. I have designed the program virtually roundtable session continue so that we are always different. We are always citizens different countries. Okay.
Okay, so you prefer to concentrate on face-to-face classes then, and we leave the the topic of today for another session. Have I understood correctly?
I will come in your questions next. Just introduce all of participants.
Okay,
yeah.
Okay. Go on then.
And next, Ekta, ma'am. Please unmute your microphone. Unmute your microphone. Yes. I can't hear. Hello? No. We can't hear to you, Ekta. What's the problem? Your microphone is mute. Your microphone is mute. Yes. Ekta, your microphone is mute. We can't hear to you. In this stage, I will come. Mentor sir, please introduce yourself. Just 1 minute. Mentor sir, can you hear to me? Hello? Hello? Mentor sir? Hello? Shahnaz ma'am? Shahnaz ma'am, are you there?
Yes, ma'am.
Please just introduce yourself. Introduce yourself. Just 1 minute.
Yes. Assalamu alaikum. I'm Shahnaz Parveen. I'm from Bushra, Southern Bushra. I'm an English teacher. I think this is my everything.
Thank you, Shahnaz ma'am.
Thank you so much.
Ekta Ebrol, are you ready? Please unmute your microphone and just. You can't hear. Your microphone problem. Maybe your microphone problem.
Yeah.
We will be logging after 10 minutes. Ekta, I can't hear. In this stage, I will come. Margarita Bellesteros, please unmute your microphone and.
Hello, good evening from my side, and I think it's a good morning in Argentina, and also I think 7 p.m. if not almost 8 p.m. already in Bangladesh. So hi, I work at the Ministry of Education here in the Philippines, and I handle the International Cooperation Office, and I am a teacher by profession. I have taught for like around 17 years before joining the ministry. I was a language teacher and a reading coordinator at the same time. So I have, my interests would include not only the international relations, so between ministries and among ministries of education in the world, but coming from a background with the higher education for like 15 years, before joining the basic education sector. I could say that at this time of the pandemic, teachers play the greatest role ever in the history of the schooling of children, be it from kindergarten to the tertiary level. The teachers are indeed the frontliners, therefore, communication, strategies, pedagogies, methodologies These are part and parcel of a package for a teacher who at this time of the pandemic and even beyond COVID-19 pandemic. So it's an honor to be joining you tonight. From my end, it's evening, Mumtaz, and to the other teachers in Bangladesh, and to good friends out there. If I may just share, there are a lot of officials, government officials of Bangladesh who have been visiting and doing benchmarking on how we do different programs in the Philippines in the previous years, especially before COVID-19. Thank you very much.
Thank you, thank you. Akota ma'am, are you ready? Akota, yes. Your microphone is no problem. We can't hear properly. I don't know where your problem. Just Mentor sir, are you there? Mentor sir, are you there? After 5 minutes, we will log in because we will use Zoom, Prime Zoom. So after 5 minutes, we will log in. Okay. Jahangir sir. Here I can see some student, Rajibul. Please introduce yourself. Unmute your phone and introduce yourself. Rajibul Islam Raja. Hello.
Hello, ma'am. I am Rajibul Islam Raja from Chittagong, Bangladesh.
Good.
I think that I can see here Salma. Are you there, Salma? Salma?
Hello.
Hello. We can hear you. Yes. At last.
Oh,
Good.
happy to have your connection. Thank you, Kota. Please introduce yourself. Just 1 minute. After
Yes.
4 minutes,
Hello.
formally start.
Greetings from India. Happy times for all.
Thank you.
So it's my great pleasure to meet you all, the great educators, on a single platform together. Thanks to Mumtaz ma'am. We are here to discuss the prospects which are going to help our students enhance their communication skills. Right?
Good.
Of course.
Right.
So that we can help them to enhance their abilities to give and receive different kinds of information, so that we can help them lay a foundation when they are working with others, managing people, and overseeing various projects all around the globe, right? And we hope we are going to include volume, clarity, empathy, respect, and understanding for non-verbal cues as well. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Thank you. Okay. Mentor sir, are you there? Hello, Mentor sir. Mentor sir will join it. Hello, Mentor sir. Will you join my program? How are you? Will you join my program? Many of are waiting for you. Hello. Hello. Hello, Jahangir sir. Hello, Jahangir sir. Introduce yourself, please.
Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Thank you. I cannot join in time. I was in another meeting. Now, anyhow, I am Mohammad Jahangir Hassan. I am an associate professor, Department of English in Government Teachers Training College, Bangladesh. And I am working with the secondary school English teachers and with the students of Bachelor of Education, Honors and Masters students. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jahangir sir. After 1 minute, we will be joined to so after 1 minute, we will formally the program. We will start the program. So, mentor sir. Jahangir sir, if you possible,
Yeah.
The inauguration of our round table session in just 1 minute.
Yes.
Just 1 minute. Our today's topic assessment of teaching and communication is just 1 minute.
Well, thank you very much. You know that here in a COVID-19 pandemic situation, we are assessing our students using online or virtual platform, though there are
পাসওয়ার্ড ওই আপনার মেসেঞ্জার আছে তো হ্যাঁ বিসি আপনার হাইফেন দিয়ে আপনার ওই দিয়ে বিসি আপনি তাহলে জয়েন্টে আপনি লিংকে ক্লিক করেন লিংকে ক্লিক করলে চলে আসবেন লিংকে ক্লিক করেন আচ্ছা Okay, we will start formally. Probably Jahangir sir will join after a few minutes. Okay, Jahangir sir joined. Hello, Jahangir sir. Hello, Jahangir sir. Hello. Hello. Hello, Jahangir sir.
Huh.
If you are hearing to me, then continue your speech.
Well, thank you. You know that here we have some device problem, and we are assessing our students for communicate and developing our students' communication skill uh, by through that here listening. In some cases, we give them some different tasks on listening, and especially we are emphasizing our students uh, for our students assessment on writing skill. We just take different types of writing. We just give the different types of writing tasks uh, to the students from our text or without the text, and the students write down the uh, answer in that notebook. Then they take pictures and send the pictures through messenger or through WhatsApp to the teachers. Then the teacher assess the students, and in this way the in our country the teachers are assessing the students writing skills, but we have a very limited skill to check their reading or to check their speaking skill, and rather we are emphasizing our students uh, on checking or assessing only on writing skill. And due to this COVID-19 pandemic, uh, we are doing this, but in our regular classes, we are assessing our students reading, writing, and as well as we are also assessing our students giving different tasks on speaking skill. And though there are different types of students in our country, sometimes there are some students very much as advanced in urban area, and in rural area the students have some limitations. um, they face some challenges in communication. In that case we are emphasizing only on writing skill. Anyhow, and English language is compulsory in our country, and so there are some students at advanced level, some students are mediocre, and some students are lower mediocre, and their communication skills only on reading and writing rather than listening and speaking. And mediocre and advanced students, their communication skills is equally developed in our country. And I think that, that today we have the chance to go through different countries in the assessing tools, and we will just try to implement the assessing tools for developing communication skill in our country. So thank you very much, Roxana. Roxana,
Okay.
madam, thank you.
Thank you. Can I go on?
Yeah.
Well, because Mas cannot hear us. Okay.
Okay.
Can I go on, Mas?
Thank you, sir,
Yes?
for your
Okay.
valuable
Well,
innovation space, and also thank you highlighting important informative information of our country. In this stage, I would like to merge Bellesteros. Uh, uh, just the question, so why should the teacher and student need to be taught communication skills and evaluate a brief discussion in the context of your country?
yes. I think that there is a common thread around the world, because we believe that we are teaching communication skills, but the focus is normally on writing, because as Mr. Hassan has said, the focus is writing, and we do not need perfect writers. What we need is effective communicators. And besides, when he mentioned listening, we are a very serious problem here, because listening is evaluated but is never taught. It is called the Cinderella of all the strategies, because no time is given to be developed. So the students do not know which type of strategies should be used in order to concentrate on information that is important, because they are supposed to fill up blanks or to answer questions in the written form. But this type of listening activity that is normally the only one, the students listen and then they write something on a sheet of paper, is not the only one. I think that they should become active participants in the process of learning. But before giving them this type of activities, they need to know the type of strategies that are present when we are listening. For example, when they are given this type of activity, as they do not know any strategy, they try to concentrate on every single word they are listening. So they get lost immediately, because they don't know that they need to concentrate on those words which carry meaning. So when they start learning the language, when they are 8 or 9 years old, the first type of information that should be given is the type of words that are present when they are having an act of communication. There are content and structure words, and the content words are really the ones that are important. And this is related to prosody and paralinguistic information that is present. That is to say, the meaning that is behind the words, that sometimes is much more important than the meaning of the words themselves. So for example, with beginners, normally they learn to repeat like a parrot, like this: what is your name? And what is your name is not right. But as we concentrate on the grammar structure of the question, we say, very good, all right. But if they listen to native speakers or speakers of the world using English, they won't pronounce the sequence like that. So the first information they need to receive when they are learning the language is, okay, listen to me. What is your name? What is your name? Which words are important there? And they immediately detect that what and name are important. Then as they get a better command of the language, where do you live? Which words are important there? Where and live. The other problem is that we urge them to give complete answers, even in listening activities. No, that's wrong. They are not supposed to give complete answers, because we are not checking grammar. What we are doing is checking comprehension. So probably they may fail, not because they haven't understood what they listened to. They fail because of the grammar mistakes. So our evaluation is not correct either. So there are certain components of our teaching that should be redirected in order to give the students what they really need. Communication is both speaking and listening should be first. Another mistake that we commit when we are teaching a foreign language is to start speaking it. No, first of all, remember when we were young, the first activity we performed as baby was listening. And after a year or a year and a half, we were ready to start pronouncing single words. For example, when we were 1 year old, we couldn't say, Mom, please, could you bring me a glass of water? I'm so thirsty. No, that's impossible. So the baby concentrates normally on the most important word, water. So the same should be done when we are teaching a foreign language, to concentrate on those words which are important, and taking into consideration emotions in speaking, and body language, because both of them are very meaningful. Remember that if I say, you tell me, hello, Patricia, how are you? And I say, oh, hello. So you immediately detect that something is wrong. So that should be taken into account, because emotions are giving information that is present beyond the words. Compare, oh, hello, how are you? Nice to see you. So the answer is completely different. So emotions and verbal language are providing, both of them are providing important information that is never taken into account. Besides, conversation devices should be taught to students, because normally I ask my students to tell me about their learning experience when learning English. For example, they usually tell me that they are unable to to keep a conversation going, because they are not taught conversation devices. For example, asking for further information, paraphrasing, rephrasing, asking for information, confirmation. And these are processes that are normally present in conversation, and they are called negotiation. So if we take all these elements into account and they are given to students as strategies, I think that they will be able to speak the language more fluently and more intelligibly. Another problem that I didn't mention and is important is that our focus is on accuracy, not on fluency. Because when we place emphasis on accuracy, this means that we want perfect grammar, and we commit mistakes in our own language. So mistakes are expected even in a foreign language if we are not the owners of that language. We are using it because we have one purpose, communicating. Thank you, Ekta. I don't know if you share my viewpoint.
Yes, Patricia, I strongly agree with whatever you said. And I'm looking forward to learn much more and implement and bring a change in our strategies with your guidance. It's like when what we do in our school, basically I'm talking about my school as per the council rules, So we have two parts of English. One is literature and one is language, right? So in literature, we focus on comprehending the text, understanding and learning the answers, and framing of sentences, framing similar sentences from the words picked out from the content of the lessons. That we take it as literature. Then when we come to language, there we have that functional grammar, a bit of functional grammar with objective types of questions. And for the subjective part, we check their writing skills, like we require to write letters, formal letters, informal letters. Then we have two more prospects for assessment. One is reading and one is spoken English. In the spoken English part, we have specific rubrics to assess the conversation skills, like student is given a topic extempore type of thing. So the child has to speak 3 to 5 sentences about it. And then for the reading is that if they are reading it with the modulation and the correct pronunciation of the words. So we try and we set rubrics like pronunciation of words and modulation, and then the content delivered by the child when the child is speaking, and then they are assessed on that.
That's good.
So we are trying to go ahead, and we'll be looking forward to valuable suggestions from you.
Okay, thank you. No, the idea is that the problem with, well, you are very well organized. The thing is that everything should be connected. When they are in separate boxes, learning does not take place. The emphasis we are giving to grammar today, because I have been visiting different countries physically when it was possible and virtually, and I have noticed that the whole world is having this problem because we are still thinking traditionally. And we are trying to change the type of teaching we are offering our students, because we know that they cannot repeat like parrots. They need to get involved. And the thing is that grammar is important, but the thing is that grammar is not taken together with natural speaking, because our big mistake is the way we correct. Suppose that we are having a conversation now, and you ask me to tell me what I did yesterday. And I say, well, yesterday I goed on a picnic. Goed, not go, you say immediately. It's went. Come on, repeat. The past of go is went. So I immediately get blocked because I cannot go on telling you about what I did yesterday. So suppose that a different way of correcting this is, I say, I go to the, on a picnic, and the teacher may become part of the conversation and say, oh, you went on a picnic. How nice.
Exactly.
That's the way, because in this way, you encourage the student to go on. So I think that we need to reflect on the way we are correcting our students. And writing is important, but grammar is important, but it should be connected with all the other skills. Even if we commit a mistake, suppose that, what do you need? You may ask me, what do you need? And I say, no, I want nothing. You immediately detect that I'm committing a mistake. I'm using double negative, and in English, that is not correct. But in spite of that, you are able to understand. So learning how the system works is important, but the idea is to be able to use the system in every ability that we are working with in the classroom. So what are the priorities? First, listening, speaking, and then manifestation, writing and reading. When they learn reading, for example, they need not only how to pronounce the words correctly, but that we do not speak in individual words, that we speak in chunks. And when we speak in chunks or in segments, we are telling the students, okay, which words are important there? Highlight them so that your interlocutor will be able to understand what
Modulation. Modulation.
All right, and this is called intonation. Intonation concentrates on meaningful words. Intonation, for example, is never taught because it is considered something untouchable. But untouchable does not mean unlearnable. I have found the way of teaching intonation in the simplest way. Whenever I give courses on listening, students at the end of the course, they always say, why is this information not taught before? So if we start telling our students from the very beginning that there are important words and unimportant words, and the idea is to concentrate on those which carry meaning, it will be much easier for them to start learning the language in that way. So if we change our way of teaching, I think that our students will be successful. And we should remember that their success is our success. Their failure is is also our failure.
Yes. Of course.
Then we are trying to build up word walls for students so that they can get an account of the sight words, so that they can keep on picking them with the correct intonation, and then they can explore them in the content which they are reading, and they can go across the correct usage of those words. Because reading a word, going across a word somewhere and then utilizing it in the proper way is something entirely different.
Ekta,
Yes.
I will come with you after a while. Just in this stage, I have a question. Margarita Bellesteros, please discuss what special training is needed for teaching, learning, and communication skills. If any, what you think it might be like. Just I repeat it. What special training is needed for teaching, learning, and communication skills? What special training is needed for teaching and learning communication skills? If any, what you think it might be like.
I hope I got it right. The question is something to do with teaching and learning.
Yes.
And listening from Patricia brought me to those days when I was still teaching, beginning reading, and the basic skills in learning a language when I was like a kindergarten teacher, then went up to the 4th grade to the 6th grade, and then formally moved on to the tertiary level. At this time of the pandemic, learning is actually it's not only a problem across countries, but it's around the world. In as much as also the teaching pedagogies, teaching methodologies of teachers have shifted, and there was really a paradigm shift, as Patricia has mentioned earlier, that stressing the point that teaching grammar, for example, is different from teaching, of course, reading. And in as much as it's also different when you teach speaking and writing as well. I speak at least like 4 languages, and I speak Italian and Spanish. Learning these languages made me realize that without functional and at the same time conversational way of practicing the language, you also tend to forget the language. Intonation, pronunciation, all of these things, they all go together in one package in learning a language. And at this point in time, it's not difficult for our children and for the students and the teachers to learn the correct way of saying it, because technology is already here, meaning we now have the greatest aid, help, or we call it here our source of what we call our source of order and strength, our online strength. We try to help or seek help with technology, not only in terms of pronunciation, but even on how we also get to see how people out there, like in Argentina maybe, or in Bangladesh, or maybe in India, or maybe in Singapore, or maybe in Slovenia, or in Finland. All of these things, our children, we don't need to tell them anymore how to do that, because they know already. Like here in the Philippines, we have learners who have become addicted to like learning Japanese. Other regions here in Southeast Asia would really like, I know for Indonesia, for sure, kids there, they love to learn German, because they see the exposure of adults and of course the government in partnership with other countries. So what they do is actually to look for it, and that has become a nature. So we really like what Patricia and the lady from India mentioned earlier. We just, as teachers, we just need the learning to prepare really the learning environment, and kids keep on interacting. I don't know how it is done in Argentina, but I have good friends also in Argentina who are teachers, and we usually like communicate. I still go back to my my survival lessons in Spanish, and now learning a bit of Portuguese. So we I know it's adult as I am, comparing myself to a kid, like a little girl in the grade school or in the high school, learning English nowadays. If that's the common language and that's the language of the world, that's for trade, for commerce, for education, it's no longer just a problem of how they would say it, because we as teachers, we just need to provide them the learning. As I would always say, the learning environment is there and technology provides it. That is why it's important to educate our kids and our teachers to really make use of technology, not only to get to interact, but also to get to make things in their own creativity. Because basically, learning the language, learning to read, learning to speak, learning to listen, and learning to interact are basically, all of these things are special abilities and skills that are imparted by teachers. So here in the Philippines, for example, we are doubling our efforts to train and retool and keep on retooling our teachers on how teaching environment and how teaching content is done at this time of the pandemic, shifting from the usual face-to-face, like what Patricia said earlier, face-to-face. Now it's actually from the gadget, from the laptop, from the screen, to just themselves. Like for me, for example, it took me like a few weeks to really how I migrated to the virtual world, facing your colleagues, because we are all still working from home, facing your colleagues on screen, and noticing as well the nonverbal, the nonverbal messages that are not said by your colleagues. So all of these things, they all take part in the learning process. It will just depend on how we facilitate as teachers. But I think these learners of the 21st century are really good. We just need, if our students are good, we need the best teachers.
Yes, Great, great. The thing is that the problem that we are having, that we do not give enough space to interaction in the classroom. For example, we may be online or in the physical classroom. We devote time to doing other activities.
Yeah.
So writing, I did a survey 2 years ago and asked the teacher of the 4 macro abilities, which is the most frequently used. And most of them said writing in the classroom. I think that it is a waste of time devoting the time your students have for improving the language to writing. So the idea is that we need to devote the whole class to speaking and give them space so that they can interact one another, and in this way they are able to use all the different strategies that are present in conversation. And besides, something very important is that communication is something that is cooperative, because when we are negotiating meanings, we need at least 2 people. And learning is also cooperative. It is a social event,
Yes.
and communication is also a social event. So if we put them together, I think that the students should get used to practicing the language in this way and devote the time we have at school to speaking. Speaking and listening is crucial. And you mentioned the technology. Technology is great so as to sharpen their ears. The more they listen, the better users of language they become, because they are able to interpret the intonation and the prosody of the language. That's great. So we all agree here.
I remember when I was learning my scholastic Italian, I felt so helpless at first, but because I need it in school and I need to write and at the same time to speak, so I can interact with my professors. It took time, but what I did was actually to start the conversation with the kids, because I was then teaching kindergarten in Rome, and the kids brought me to wonders. Like, they have their new vocabulary. So every day I have very, very small notebook and I write on the words that they were like saying. And at the end of the day, I refer to the dictionary, and the following day I would use it. And they, it's like practicing time and again, like what we did when we were younger, during our younger days. And it's the same with our kids this time. They are just lucky that with technology they can click from time to time and repeat until they do it perfectly. So as I always say to the teachers here in my country, there's no more question, no more problem of you like nagging, because technology has already provided it. You just have to get used to it and try to just select lessons or links, very careful with the links that you send to your students. So that's how it is now with the 21st century.
Yes, no doubt. No doubt.
Thank you, Ms. Bellesteros. At last, we have got Bushra Anis Nagvi. Please, Bushra ma'am, are you there?
Yes, I'm very much there. Thank you so very much. And I'm so sorry I've got so many missed calls from your side, and it's really great to see the educators from across the globe. For instance, I know Ekta ma'am, but meeting you here is really great. Me and Ruxana met in Korea way back in 2012, but still we are connected. And because we are discussing this communication, assessing, etc. So I've been listening to Margarita, and she was referring Patricia's statements. So I really got the great ideas that no matter where are we from, teachers' problems, they are the same. Teachers' practices, they are the same. And again, the way they are communicated, I would again refer Patricia's quote, that negotiating its meaning. It's really a great term, because maybe this means different to me and different to you, but unless and until we talk and we convey our message, for instance, I'm in a habit of using my hands a lot. So that means if I have to stress something, so I use my hands, and my daughter says, Mama, please stop moving your hands. So I said, I put a stress, and that makes me feel that yes, probably my message is conveyed clearly. As far as Pakistan's issue is concerned, I'm from Pakistan and I'm an educator as well. Geography and environmental science is my key subject, but I'm a global master trainer for leadership core skills and international schools award for British Council. And feel privileged that the things I couldn't have afforded, British Council has afforded me, and I've got opportunities to see, meet educators across the globe. And you know, traveling brings a lot difference in your own skills and practices. And thanks to this technology, blessing in disguise to COVID, that it has traveled us, moved us to so many places that I haven't thought of. So it's not only traveling by aeroplane or traveling by train. Ruxana, ma'am, she just talked to me early in the morning. I was offering at that time prayer as well. And I said, yes, I'll be there. I was having a global seminar, which I was facilitating with my co-facilitator. But I said, no, I have to be there because it's been third time she has communicated. And this is the session on assessing communication. So how would she feel when I'm not taking her communication effectively? So that was something very, motivating for me. And if I take the conditions in Pakistan, they were not so different like from any part of the world. We were facing the same issues as well. But yes, when students now, it's partially schools, they are closed and open. They are on hybrid model. What I feel as a mother, as a global citizen, as an educator, developing the connection was the most important thing all through the past 13 months. And developing this connection through our conversation was one of the most important thing. Unless and until
Very
you
true.
talk and
Very true.
speak to the people, you cannot tell them how much do you care for them. And with that, showing grace. For instance, what I have learned in the past 13, I have an experience of 27 years as an educator. And you know, those 27 years are at one side and this last 13 months are at one place. And what I have learned, showing grace is the most important thing. I'm a teacher, I need to show grace to my students. I'm a principal, I need to show grace to my teachers and the parent community. Grace doesn't mean that I need to listen to them only. Rather, I am in the capacity of developing their thoughts into practical actions. And that is not fulfilled unless and until we listen to them. And listening is, of course, happening when someone is communicating to me. And that communication is not taken positively unless and until I'm showing them the grace. Because in Pakistan, you know, there were some times when there was total lockdown and there was no connection between the teachers and students and their schools. So you know what happened? These mosques, their microphones, their speakers, they were used to connect with those children community. And it was so fabulous that teachers, they were holding the speakers in their hands and they were moving around in the streets. And they were saying, we have kept the homework topics there at some place. Come one by
Amazing.
one and take the homework back home. And once you're done, bring it
Amazing.
back and put it
Amazing.
here. So it was so, it was so
Amazing.
practical. It was so effective. So that means conveying one's message was the most important thing. And now coming to the micro level, in current state, our current webinar was on action planning as well, and I'll be sharing the same because across the globe participants, they were there. So one very important thing was there, we all have to be very specific what actually we want to develop basically, even if it's communication, even if it's like verbal or the non-verbal side, but we need to be specific. And again, the pandemic has brought us to this earth that developing students effective speaking is very, very important. And this is because no matter they state with one word, no matter they come up with the full sentence, I have to be gracious enough to take their one-word communication. Oh, he means this, so I have to be responding to this, issue like that. And as Margarita said, so many opportunities they are around, and we need to grab all the opportunities. And honestly, I would mention one of my very wonderful and amazing educator, Stormy Daniel. I don't know most of you know her or not. She's from America, and from Pakistan and America there is a 12 hours difference. And even if I do not understand any of particular terminology, I just leave a message, Stormy, whenever you see the message, please respond to me. And she always surprises me by replying me there and then. I said, even it's 2 o'clock a.m. in the morning, are you awake? She said, I am awake because someone needs my help. And this is showing grace. So these so many things we have learned by communicating with the people across the continents as well. And this bunch of 10 people of educator which is sitting here, we are basically not here for Bushra, Ruxana, or Patricia's, or Margarita's, or Ekta, or Nasir, etc. But we people are concerned about our own people, our children. I'm in my this age bracket. So what I'll be leaving to my community, this is more important. And developing the connection through effective communication, I have felt is very, very important. And this is what we have given stress on in our schools, in our, because I work with the ministry as well, a little. Okay, so we are back. Now, this technical glitch was once communicated to me that no matter Zoom says it's free content of 40 minutes, but when you click it again, you are again in the meeting. So this was one of the effective communication as well. So, there are so many places where we can't deny the importance of communication and assessing its practices. As Margarita, she stated, my own daughter, we met last year with a pool of 300 people in Finland, and there were 200 educators and 100 children. And my daughter was a part of that conference as well. It was WSSC World Conference for Students for Climate Change in 2019. And they developed their whole community. And you know what these students, they did? Students from Pakistan, students from Turkey, students from Malaysia, students from India, students from Sri Lanka, they taught each other their own language. It was such a wow action by the students, and we supported them that yes, now you are able enough to handle these very languages. You have to, implement it in your classrooms, and you are going to empower on these skills to your classmates, etc. Back to the point, and I'll finish to this very thing. Thanks to the technology, basically, it has helped us a lot in supporting our this very component, because you write wrong, the Google makes it right. So you speak wrong, the Google does it so. And thanks to the technology that, and even if this isn't available on even Google as well, so I can always ask Ekta or Ruxana or any other to help me out to do that. And yes, I feel blessed that, in our religion, it is said that teaching is the prophetic profession. So if I am owing this prophetic profession, this is my duty, that I was up alive in the morning. I'm the most blessed person on the surface of the earth. So what best I can give to the humanity? And yes, I can collaborate with the people. I can share my skills and experience, and I'm learning at the same time as well. So thank you so much, Ruxana ma'am, for giving me this much time. I'm so sorry. I was so loud and so fast.
Oh,
Thank you.
congratulations. You are very passionate. And if you show that to your students, they must be very grateful because you love what you do. And that's great. That's great. One of the most important things before starting teaching is to create that atmosphere that you were mentioning, Bushra, because we need to create an effective link with our students so as to ensure that the process of teaching and learning, both of them are taking place successfully. Otherwise, there is no teaching or learning possible.
So very right.
Amazing. Bushra Bazi, it has always been amazing to listen to you.
Thank you so much. You know, Patricia, me and Ekta, we know each other's language. And and if we teach you one word, so that will be very, very good here. We call friend Saheli. So you call Saheli?
Saheli.
Saheli.
That's great. So, you know, we are lifelong learners. We are learning all the time. And now that we have the opportunity to meet people from all over the world, that's great because we are sharing experience and we are learning all together. And this is priceless. So thank you very much for everything I'm learning today from you.
Great. Roxana ma'am, unmute yourself.
She cannot hear us. She can't.
Hello,
She
Bushra.
can.
I have just one question.
Okay.
Hello, Bushra Anis. I have just one question. So why should teacher and a student need to be taught communication skills and evaluated? As in head of institutions, brief discussion is the context of your country. Why should
I didn't get.
Why should teachers and students need to be taught communication and evaluation?
Ekta ji, can you repeat the question?
Yes. She means to, yeah.
Why should teachers and students need to be taught communication skills and evaluate?
She wants to ask, yeah.
Yes. Why we need? Why do the students need to be taught the communication skills? Conveying one's own message. Yes. This is the main thing that experienced in the past. 13 months in particular, and of course in general as well. The communication skills are the most important way to expressing one's own self. And communication, of course, we all know this is of two types of verbal.
Hello. Hello. Bushra is maybe probably internet disconnect.
Whatever you learn, either in English or in Urdu, but it does matter whether you have grasped the content or not. And this cannot be achieved unless and until students, they communicate their issues to their teachers as well. And again, in this scenario, conveying one's own message to the people we are interacting in the class, in the school, in the community, across the globe is so much important. And there are different ways that are opted, of course, but yes, whatever the technological assistance is available, we are making full use of it in order to develop these communication skills in our students. And we have offered some very short programs as well, like we are linked with so many schools in UK, of course working with the British Council on International School Award. So those schools, two of the schools, they are language colleges, and my students, they are learning German from their peers in UK, and they have one class per after every fortnight. So this does make a difference that over the period of 1 year, at least they are able to communicate in a specific language, and they can express themselves in 4 to 5 sentences. So this is good enough. And it's been 6 years, so they have learned almost 3 to 4 languages. So this is a privilege for a child in a developing country, because yes, there are some certain institutions, those who do deliver these spoken skills in different languages, but they charge very high. But through technological thing, yes, they are able to do that. And assessing communication skills, as Mumtaz's question was, teaching is important in order to conveying their message. We use different technological tools as well. We are using Flipgrid a lot. Flipgrid is very helpful these days. And besides that, we have used this um, uh, uh, I forgot to. Okay, if I'll remember, I'll write it in the chat box. But assessment is done through, direct communication, as this is done through IELTS program as well. We have very short question answer sessions with the students, and we have very short assessment tools, again through Flipgrid, where students, they speak or they utter a whole sentence, and if it is right, they get a tick, and if it is wrong, so they have to speak it again unless the tick gets green. So this sort of assessment is very attractive, but of course such provisions, they are not available to them at home. So this is the main thing, that they really want to come to school and avail all those facilities. Thank you, Ma'am Ruxana.
Thank you, Bushra, for your
Great.
Welcome.
This is, I would like to Ekta ma'am, please. Are you there? Ekta ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Ekta ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Please. What I
May I say something?
Yes, ma'am.
How do you teach your student communication skills in the workshop, workplace, and discuss assessment skills with colleagues? Brief discuss about your country, please. How do you teach your student communication skills in the workplace and discuss assessment skills? And
Roxana, can you speak in the microphone? Speak in the microphone, yes, so that you are clearly audible.
How do your students communication skill in the workplace?
And discuss assessment with your colleagues. Can you hear me?
Actually, we do have, yes, we do have a peer learning community, and we meet once a week to discuss the strategies and the follow on of the strategies. So each of us, each of the teachers of each grade, like suppose class grade 5 teachers, grade 4 teachers, grade 3 teachers, they meet once a week for English, so that they can discuss whatever they have practiced, so that other teachers also can be benefited. And then they discuss the follow on also, that what was the result of the practice which they used with their students. Like if they are using any apps, if they are using any activities to encourage students and to speak up, because the basic objective is to provide more and more opportunities to the students to speak, to create an inducive environment which can induce them to speak. So we have to create a situation through a role play or a conversation, half the conversation, half the story, which can be carried on and completed by the students, so that it forces them to think. And that force has to be also willing force. Means they willingly feel like they have to say something. So as Patricia ma'am also discussed, that we have to give a gesture. Yes, I'm interested in what you are speaking. I'm listening to you and I'm lending my hand to you to come up and express yourself. Because students are scared of the peer pressure also. So we have to give them an environment which helps them to come up.
So the idea is that when the students have the opportunity to speak in class, there are two resources that are crucial, and I'm permanently promoting them. When I'm a drama teacher, so when I use drama, all the components of communication are present, because drama means speaking and listening. And there is a great variety of activities that can be given in order to improve their learning. And the thing is that ludic activities are also excellent in order to promote speaking and listening. in a way, when both resources are used, the students are central in the process of learning. So they are internalizing the information and practicing speaking and listening all the time. So the idea is whenever we have a lesson, we should keep them active, using the language permanently. And another important element that should be included in the class is metacognitive strategies, because the students need to learn how to learn. Why? Because when they are given these sort of strategies, they can evaluate their own progress. This is something that is not done normally in our classes. We need to reflect on our own teaching. That's why we get together, as Bushra was saying. We need to get together as teachers to reflect on on our practices, but at the same time, we need to encourage our students to work together and reflect on their own processes of learning. Why? Because when they reflect in that way, they discover their weaknesses and strengths, and they can learn from their own mistakes. So it is important to give a space for reflection in our classes, because this is very fruitful. The students have a voice there, and they are able to express their ideas freely and to exchange strategies and different types of information. And in this way, cooperatively, they improve their learning. For me, this type of learning and teaching is amazing, because everybody is gaining from the same sort of strategies that we are trying to include in our classes. So we cannot fail. We will be successful because we find that our students are motivated and they want to keep on trying the language in that way. We cannot accept any longer passive receivers of information. We need a busy class. A silent class is not healthy. I always say that silence is not healthy at school. We need active participants, and they are busy working, trying to solve a problem or trying to organize a drama activity. But the thing is that in this way, we make them think, as you have said, Rasha, we make them think, and Edgar too, both of them have referred to the same idea. They need to develop a lateral and critical thinking, because creativity and critical thinking, both of them are two of the basic competencies that students should develop for the 21st century. So if we use drama and these type of activities, I'm sure that they will be able to develop these competencies that are required, provided that we step outside the comfort zone and encourage them to be in a zone in which there are risks, challenges. And when we feel that our students take risks, they are grading askers, they are inquisitive, they are proactive, they want to work in teams, and they want to go on learning. And when they want to go on learning, this means that our mission has been accomplished, because they will become lifelong learners in the same way we are.
In this stage, I want to know to you.
We cannot listen to you properly, Roxana.
Okay, I have microphone computer. Okay, just okay. Yeah. What are 4 communication skills? Example. What are 4 communication skills? What are 4 communication skills? What are 4
communication skills?
How can improve communication skills? Deep discussion in the context of your country.
What are 4 communication skills?
Patricia, are you hearing to me?
No, I haven't heard. No, I cannot understand you very clearly. I know that you want me to speak about communication skills, but I need to focus on that. What could you repeat, because I want to know exactly what you need to say.
Bushra, are you hearing me clearly?
I am hearing.
But I don't understand. You're talking about communication skills. What's the point with communication?
What are 4 communication skills? Example, and how we can improve communication skills?
Well, I think that Patricia, Roxana's question is, what are 4 communication skills? give the examples, and how can we develop our students' communication skills
Well, I
or
have
core
already,
skills?
okay, thank you, Mr. Hassan. The idea is that how can communication skills can develop? First of all, we need to create a pleasant atmosphere that invites the students to learn. Otherwise, it is impossible to ask them to speak in class. Why? Because they are afraid of committing mistakes. We need to remember that they are learning a foreign language, and mistakes are expected. That's why they are considered part of the process. If we interrupt them after they immediately commit a mistake, they will try not to participate because they don't want to be laughed at by their peers. So first, this pleasant atmosphere, and then the type of activity that is given. Normally, the class that I usually have with my students is devoted to speaking. Of course, that whenever something is taught, there is an introduction, but the idea is to use different activities for consolidation. For example, drama and ludic activities are used for consolidating information. Drama is not used for introducing new material. And the type of listening activities may be used not only for comprehension based on writing down an answer. No, there is a great variety. We are used to depending on these type of activities in which the students listen and they write down answers. No, we can test their comprehension through different types of listening activities using their bodies, for example. And here I'm referring to total physical response activities in which there is a verbal input and the student have a response. For example, whenever I say this word, raise your right hand. Whenever I say that word, you raise your left hand. In this way, in this particular activity, the students are revising vocabulary. But these total physical response activities are great because they are using the bodies. Remember that learning is a holistic activity. It's not a question of concentrating everything they do on their brains. They also learn through emotions and using their bodies. When the learning is holistic, they live what they are learning. They are not just observers. No, they are doers. Why? Because they are learning by doing. They are experimenting with language, and the classroom becomes a laboratory where they are experimenting with language. And there is a lot of trial and error, and they are welcome because they need to know that when they are committing mistakes, they are also learning. So whenever we create this type of environment, which is inviting to learn, the bell rings and they want to go on working. And that's amazing.
Very right. And yes, I'll just add on to it. Yes, most of it is said by Patricia. But yes, when it comes to communication, comes to effective communication skills, listening is the most important thing. I generally tell my student, listening is half learning. If you listen carefully, you have done the half learning. Now, the rest is, of course, on the depiction through writing or through mentioning it through verbal or non-verbal. So listening is very, very important. And of course, non-verbal, which I've just mentioned, either we, speak through mouth or we speak through actions. So they are of two types, again, harsh or soft. So controlling those actions in different situations is, again, very important. And that is again comes under the thing that I have mentioned as showing grace. If someone is not getting your question and he says, what you have just said, I didn't understand. So if I get harsh, the student will not be able to reply or ask questions ever again. So I need to show grace, and I have to be soft in my gestures as well. And this is what I have, because we all are educators and we all have an ideal teacher in my mind. I still have my ideal teacher and I reflect her practices. So maybe you people have your teachers. So I need to be showing grace. And one more important thing, confident enough that I have a confidence. I set high expectations of my children that they can do. And I have asked them to remove that thing, the word fail, fail. We never fail. Either we win or we learn. If you have spoken well, fine. If you are not able to, communicate it well, learn the ways when you can communicate well. And then showing, of course, empathy. There is always a one day for me as well to know something. So that maybe that is their first day when they are knowing anything. So I have to be empathetic. And we need to be, always be having an open mind. For instance, as we are respecting each other's dialect as well. We, the Asians, put great stress on words, and we speak with a little slow pace. Maybe we first think and prepare the sentence and then we speak out. This is the grammar translation method. So we need to be having an open mind that everyone is, struggling with their very types of learning resources, etc. So same the case with the child as well. We need to be having an open mind, even in the classroom, if we really want to get the best out of our children and students community. Thank you.
Nasir
That's
sir,
great.
are you there? Hello, Nasir sir. Hello, Nasir Uddin Sir. Are you there?
Yes, I am here.
Sir, first of all, you just introduce and say something about our program. This
Okay. Thank you.
2 minutes.
Thank you, Mrs. Ruxana Mumtaj Akhtar, for giving me the chance to say something in this nice program. I joined your program so late, but teaching and assessing communication skills. Today's discussion matter in the topic Patricia Arbona and Bushra Anis Madam elaborately discuss in this skill. I mentioned communication skill. There are so many communication skills they describe elaborately. They are very efficient speaker about this matter. I thank to Patricia Arbona and Bushra Anis, as well as those who participate in this session, Ekta Ebrol and Mr. Jahangir Hassan, Shahnaz Parveen, and today's host, Mamtas Ruxana Akhtar. She is very excellent lady who is actively arranged and participate such kind of international webinar. I am very happy to hear from Patricia as well as Bushra. They are very important person to discuss skill communication. Student as well as teacher, I mean everybody will be benefited from their talk. I mention here in Bangladesh, teacher or in student, they are very poor in communication skill. So in this period, this means the pandemic situation, we communicate with great teacher such as Patricia or Bushra, etc. We hear from them. I am very happy to hear from you, and I learned more and more about different skills. These are very essential for our quality education, for our 21st century skill, as well as we earn uh, uh, SDG, SDG, uh, goal of SDG. I end of my speech uh, again. Thanks to Patricia, Bushra, and Ekta, Jahangir Sir, and Shahnaz Parveen, and today's speaker, today's host, Mumtaz Rukhsana Akhtar. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you, Nasir, for being here, and thank you for your words. Really, it is a great opportunity to share our teaching practices and learn all together, because this is a consequence of this pandemic crisis. This did not happen before. We started having this sort of meetings when we were during lockdown, and we needed to go on improving our teaching because we were separated from our teachers physically. So we needed to find a way, and gradually we went beyond the limits of our countries, and we started making friends around the world. And I think that I'm very fortunate. I'm very, very grateful because I have had the opportunity to meet you all and to try to help this transition in education we are having. And in a way, we are improving the quality of education. So thank you, Roxana, for this opportunity to be together and to discuss different topics related to teaching and learning, which help us grow.
Thank you, Patricia. At this stage, I will come to Mr. Jahangir Sir. Our estimated guests summarize what they have discussed so far. Since you are teachers in the Teachers Training College, let us know if you have any suggestion for improving teaching and communication skills. Sir, can I hear you today?
Yeah. Well, thank you, Roxana, for arranging these kinds of, the meeting, and I think that really it will help our communication skill, and we can just compare our country perspective and different country perspective of developing communication skill. You know that here in our country we have a national curriculum and textbook board under Ministry of Education, and they have given the curriculum and our curriculum, and they have also composed the syllabus, and as well as different types of books, and especially and the English for today has been designed from class 1 to graduation level in Bangladesh. You know that in Bangladesh the primary grade English books, syllabus and curriculum is fine, and it is designed up to communicative skill. But and these are that categorized into three parts. One is rural areas, another is urban areas, and another is very advanced areas. Because there are some O-level schools, there are some very advanced schools. Their students, teachers, all are very advanced. They can develop their communication skill equally, listening, speaking, reading, writing through different activities. And you know that here their teaching, learning, and everything are activity based, and students are assessing through different activities in listening, in speaking, in reading and writing. And as well as that the urban areas students and teachers also are that facilitated, and they are also advanced. But the challenges are here in our rural areas, because in our rural areas the students have the limited facilities or opportunities of using different materials, that is, and they have the challenges in their family and surroundings, because the speaking or learning areas are not speaking, learning, English or communicative skill development area, and the teachers have limited training, and they are also only focusing on passing in the exam. That is the challenge. But though the government has organized different types of training, and that is communicative language teaching, to develop teachers' competency, and they implement their competency in the classroom situation, but uh, they have only 1 or 2 classes in each of the day for each grade, from primary to secondary. And this 1 or 2 class is not enough for developing our students' communication skills. And if we can create some environment in the school premises, other than in their home or in their community, like English language club or English, that we can arrange some papers, or we can give some online tools or gadgets for developing their communication skill, then our rural areas students and teachers will be equally benefited. Though there are some challenges in our country, but the challenges or limitations are very, this nice recently is developing, but now we are going switched off in the pandemic situation, because we have to only depend on our online, the tools, or what is completely internet based, but that is very, very limited in our rural areas. But in urban areas or advanced areas, there is no limitations. And but our curriculum is full. Our books are completely okay. That here activity based. Our assessment has been focused on reading, writing, as well as 10 and 10 marks. And rubric cube has been set in listening and speaking. Though there is some barrier for assessing the students in their mark sheet. That is the challenges. And that here in the next, I think that, and if we can continue these types of activity in our rural areas, like the urban areas or advanced areas, then I think that our teachers and students will be helpful. But we have to arrange different types of training program, and for developing our teachers' competency, and what will make a win-win situation between the urban areas teachers and students, and the rural areas teachers and students. And I think that here we have only joined from different countries. Only I think that in the common facilitated areas, but if we can include some and rural areas teachers and in these types of the seminar or in the forum, then their competency will be developed and our students will be benefited. I think that today I want to thank Bushra, Patricia, and that here Ekta for participating here. I think, and in the next, I think Roxana Mamatas will include or invite different and rural area teachers in our country, and what will enhance or give them a strength for developing communication skill, and that will be implemented in our classroom situation, and where our students of rural areas will be benefited like the urban areas. So thank you very much, Ruxana Akhtar. I think that this will be an ongoing process, and it will help our students and teachers for developing their communication skills or communicative skills. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jahangir Sir, for your valuable space and information and informative space about our country day. If asked how I help students improve their communication skills, I would say that my students are very weak because my school is village schools and rural area. Most of their parents are poorly and illiterate. So yet I try them in different ways, such as the meaning of words, sentence structure, talking to friends, standing in front of mirror, and so on, etc. So at that time, now we have to finish the program, so we'll not log in again. So Remember that we will try to do this program every week with different topics. I hope everyone will be with me. I'm so grateful to everyone for staying with me for so long. Everyone has been very supportive of me, and I hope to do the same in the future. I've learned a lot from you today. This is how we want to learn and teach the next generation. Everyone expected us to create real human resource. Everyone will be fine. We will meet in another program. Just if you say something, Patricia Arbona, please just 1 minute, the full session.
Yes, it's very little time is left. So I just to say thank you for this meeting. I think that it has been very fruitful, and I think that it is food for thought, because after this we will reflect on our own practices and try to improve the type of communication skills we are giving to our students. Thank you very much for this meeting, Roxana.
Thank you, Ekta.
Thank you so much. Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Roxana ma'am. It was a wonderful opportunity, and we came across different methods, different strategies, and it's going to help us plan our new lesson plans for the new session, and we'll definitely meet again for more enlightenment. Thank you so much.
This is ongoing program, so don't worry. Shahnaz ma'am, if you say something, please. Shahnaz Parveen. Shahnaz Parveen, please say something. Shahnaz Parveen, she is not able to. So, okay. Good night and goodbye.